Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Hash It Out Show. I am your host, JB, your sports guy. I'm being joined by my good friend, the guy that's never at a loss of words. And you can catch him on CrescentCitySports.com, the one and only VK Jones. VK, how you doing?
Jared, what's going on with you, man? And we welcome everyone here on YouTube Live, Facebook Live. We're on every week. We got one show today, but we also gonna have some a little something we'll tell you about later on because we definitely gonna have a couple little bitty updated shows this week, especially concerning prep basketball playoffs here in Louisiana. So we'll tell you about that more later. But it's good to be here, and we have a special guest. We got a couple guests today. And we have a special guest right now. You see the three bald heads on the screen, and that's some good luck right there. So let's get it going, Jared.
Oh, man. Yes, indeed. So, our special guest, this guy has won a total of 3 state championships as a basketball coach here in the state of Louisiana. He is the coach of the Division II state champions of 2022. That's right, last season, the Archbishop Hannon Hawks. Our special guest today, Coach Errol Gauff. Coach, how you doing today, sir? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invite, and I'm doing great, doing good. Just getting ready for another, hopefully, playoff run here.
Yes, sir, most definitely. Before we get into yourself and Archbishop Hannon, you won 2 state titles at St. Thomas Aquinas, I believe, in 2007 and 2008. Talk about your time at St. Thomas Aquinas and winning those 2 state championships.
Those years were incredible at STA. The people who I really became friends with, some of the players, their parents. Those years were incredible. It gave me a chance to grow as a coach. I'll be honest, and I learned a lot. And then after a few years, or however many I'd been there, we had some great success. I'm not going to lie. Never knew it was going to evolve into what it did. And that was really just due to the patience or perseverance of everybody. And like I said, I was learning along the way, and we just got better, and the good Lord blessed us, and we had some talented young men. Don't get me wrong. You can have the world's greatest coaches. You've got to have some young men with some talent. And we did, and they put it together, and we were fortunate enough to win a couple of state championships.
I also read that you were the coach of the Southeastern Louisiana girls at one time in your career. Talk about that.
That is correct. I went to Southeastern to assist Coach Ladner, who is now the head coach at the University of Southern Mississippi, with the boys, and did 2 years there. And then while I was there, things happened, if you will, and had the opportunity for a year to go and be the head coach for the girls at Southeastern, and then transition from there right to Archbishop Hannon, back to high school, if you will. Some see it as, a lot of people career-wise see it as motion, if you will, or whatever. But for me, it was something that was needed, and it was good. And Archbishop Hannon, or me going there, was at a really good time for me.
2017, you go to Archbishop Hannon, and you just said it was needed for you. Why Archbishop Hannon?
It was a Catholic school. I am Catholic. I've been at St. Thomas Aquinas all those years. It's also a Catholic school. And I just like what the Catholic education and the system stands for. I grew up in that. I went to St. Paul's in Covington. So, that's, I guess, at the root of things. I think when they say holistic education, I truly believe in that. And I believe in the spiritual part of the education, obviously the academic, the social, and then the athletic. And I think when you can find schools, you can find young men or young women, students, and you can find parents who truly believe in that, you have the opportunity then with work and perseverance to grow whatever it is you're trying to grow. Obviously, being a basketball coach, I was trying to grow the basketball program. And at the time I went to Archbishop Hannon, Father Charlie Latour was the principal. And as head of school, he wanted to try and grow the boys basketball program. So that's why I said it was something good for me at that time because it fit the things I was looking for, and it was something they were trying to do at that time as well. So it was a good mix. I knew a lot of he knew a lot of people I knew from my days at STA. Father Charlie knew them, and having grown up or attended school at St. Paul's, there were people in the Covington area I also knew who could help me as far as getting established in Covington, and they knew, sort of what I believed in as a basketball coach. And we said, let's get a shot using the same basically principal values that I'd used and come to learn and grow in my years at STA.
You talk about building a program at Archbishop Hannon. When you first started practicing with your new team, talk about some of the things that you had to implement to make your team buy into your system.
You guys may not know, it was really rough in the beginning. I started, I guess, in the summer, mid-May, and we played all summer, and it was pretty good. I was like, man, we have not going to be great, but we have a chance to be pretty good. There were a couple of young men who didn't have a lot of playing time from the year before because they had so many seniors the year before. But they were still junior seniors, had some size. There was a young man there who was really talented named Norris Williams, who could be the point guard. There was another young man who could really score the ball, shoot it, Sean Beatty. And like I said, there were two young men who had greater size than anybody I'd ever really had at STA. They were about 6'5", 6'6". I was like, we have something here we can work with. Summer ended, long story short, moved forward to, I'm a firm believer in August, September, early October, a lot of conditioning, weight training. And it's just like practice, 5 days a week. You're going to be doing something, whether it's weight training, conditioning, agility drills. We go get this started, and it was something new to them. So there was, I guess, kickback, whatever. And that's when I was like, they're like, Coach, we're not doing this. We don't want to do it that much, blah, blah, blah. And I'll never forget, it was a couple young men. I don't know if I'd have made it there this long if it weren't for Logan Dury and Christian Grimowitz, who were seniors, and they stuck with it. Those two, and they got a couple of other older kids to stick with it. Father Charlie was awesome. I mean, super supportive, and told him, no, this is what I want as far as building a program. This guy says this is what we need to do to build it. You either want to do it or you don't. So we had to use some younger guys, but like I said, I do really appreciate those two. There were other seniors, Seth Clare, those young men sticking it out and laying the foundation for here's how we're going to work. Here's how we're going to practice and getting ready for the season. That first year, we were fortunate in that we won the district and we survived. Or when I say we, I mean, me, I guess, as far as the school was really good as far as allowing me to implement the things that I was trying to implement that would help us move the program forward. But that first year, like I said, those first couple of months, I was like, uh-oh. And one of the guys who called me all the time about sticking with it, and what you've tried has worked. Somebody we talked about off camera, Coach Timmy Burke. We would talk, and there were other coaches who were telling me, just give it time. If they stick with you, stick to your guns. You know what it takes. Stick to your guns. I made it through that first year, and I was worried that second because some of the guys who had played that year, sophomores and juniors, decided not to. So we really had to play a younger squad. That second year was the year I was like, uh-oh. And those younger guys really fought for me as far as when the game started, practices. We didn't have a lot of guys. It was like you look on the bench, it's 9. That's JV and varsity. And those young men fought and fought. And it's sort of like the same story at STA. It was like, you're playing all these freshmen and younger guys. And at STA, when those freshmen, 4 years later were seniors, we had like 6 of them. They won a state title. And some of those freshmen who got invaluable playing time as freshmen at Hannon, as those who stuck it out as seniors, they were fortunate enough last year to also experience, everything that comes with all the sacrifices you make, all the time you give up, the parents give up, because it's a lot of sacrifices. People don't realize the young men make sacrifices, but the parents are making sacrifices as well on time and things like that,
Right.
To support their son and get him to summer league games and get him the weights and conditioning and then all of the practices and games. Basketball, every coach will tell you in Louisiana, that means your Thanksgiving holidays, your Christmas holidays, if you're fortunate, your Mardi Gras holidays. So it's a huge sacrifice. And that's both student, athlete, and parent. You never know what's going to happen. You never know where your season's going to end. So last year I was super proud and happy for those young men who had made that commitment sacrifice, that it ended the way it did for them last year, because there's no guarantees. And that's all I can tell them. We're going to work hard, but there's no guarantees I can make you other than we're going to work hard and hopefully we can have some success.
Our good friend, Coach Everett Bates, the head coach of the Haynes girls basketball team, he says he's watched you build something out of nothing, and he's trying to model his blueprint at Haynes. I've talked to a lot of coaches also, Coach, and you are very well respected in the game. People talk highly about you. Reflect on last season winning that state championship. Talk about how hard your team practiced, how they worked, any ups and downs that happened during the season up into the state championship.
State championship game, wow. I'll tell you, Coach Brandon White at Liberty, and I'll just quickly touch on, it's very unfortunate, and I do mean very unfortunate. The incident that took place, I guess, a little week and a half, 2 weeks ago with Liberty and Zachary, that both of those, and those are two of the better basketball programs in the state of Louisiana, both Zachary High School and Liberty Magnet. But I will say this, I do respect the LHSA for their consistency. They had incidents like this occur earlier in the year. This is how they ruled on it. Done. Now it happened, unfortunately for them, at the very end of the season, basically, and they were consistent. So I do think everybody's got to say they were fair.
Yes.
We may not, and I'm going to say, I may not even like the way they did it, because I consider both of those coaches friends of mine at those two institutions. But I will say I do respect and applaud the LHSA for being consistent in this case. So kudos to them for that. As far as back to your question, wow. The season itself, we had some success throughout the year. And let's say around the end of January, we were struggling a little bit, still winning a couple of games. But on a Saturday, we went to Walker, and they whipped us. They whipped us. It's good. One of our seniors and better players, Kareem Johnson, hurt his leg, growing issue, muscle. We played that Tuesday, won, but struggled. Went to Southern Lab the Saturday after that. In first half, really struggled, and they were doing pretty good against us. But in that second half, the game sort of, you could see, even though we were still without Kareem, you could see us starting to play a little better. And we took that film, and it was almost like a self-scout. And we just used it to show, look at this missed blockout and what the effect it had, or this bad pass and the effect it had. And you're better than that. You know how to read this situation or whatever it is. And we went to Lutcher, who was doing well. And we played okay to good in the first half. And at halftime, you could hear them talking, the players, about what they could do. And they went out there and really executed really well in the second half, and we earned a big victory. And I thought that gave them the momentum and the confidence they had sort of teetering with there the end of January, early February, and they regained it. And as the playoffs started, we were right there regaining that confidence. And, we won that first game, which we hadn't won a playoff game in my years at Archbishop Hannon. We made the playoffs every year and always bowed out. So their whole goal was win the playoff. And lo and behold, that first playoff game, we were successful. We were able to win. And Evangel came. And as we practiced for that, they really did do a great job locking in. And he's our only senior this year, Luke Timmons. That game had a phenomenal defensive game. They had a young man who really could score the ball. Luke did a great job guarding him. Obviously, we had help. Other guys helped. He was the primary defender. And when they won that game, they really thought, that's it. We did. Now we won 2. We go on Lafayette, blah, blah. And when we came back to practice, find out, okay, we have St. Michael's. Coach Hart does a great job with the Warriors. I mean, we had seen them in a team camp that summer, so we knew who they were. We knew about them, hadn't played them. And I thought we had some of the best practices we had all year in those games before the St. Michael's game. And I was really, really worried about that game because they had a 3-guard attack. That was like, man, how, we had won these 2 playoff games with defense for the most part. And I was really worried about that. And we got to Lafayette, and those guys played lights out defensively. We get past that game, and we walking off the floor, and I'm talking to Coach Hart, and he said a couple of things to me that gave me reassurance about our team as we went back to Covington to get ready to play Liberty. And, as we got through preparing and we finished that last practice, and I got home and just reviewed, I'll be honest, I really felt good about that game. I thought our young men had done a great job preparing, and I just, I thought we made a couple good calls staying at home, not spending the night there. We met that Saturday back at school. They were all relaxed and confident. And I'll be honest, I really thought going into the game, I said, we're going to do well tonight. Now, I never thought we set some record about shooting percentage and all this other crazy stuff, and didn't even know we did it until I got to the post-game press conference. During the game, I guess I'm so into the game, I didn't realize we making all these shots. I didn't know we playing pretty good. But I was really proud of the young men. But I do say the biggest turning point was right there at the end of January, going through that struggle at Walker. And even though we won some district games, we really struggled to do so. And then that loss at Southern Lab, where we really just broke things down on film. And then, they regained their confidence through watching the film. And then I think that Lutcher game pointed us back moving, in the right direction as the playoffs began.
Coach, this season, brand new. How were you able to get your team to focus on the upcoming season and not think about last season at all? How can you get them to focus? Or how did you get them to focus?
Good or bad, history, I guess, tells us how to do things. And I do recall when we won it back at STA in 2007, University of Florida, the Gators had just won the national championship. And I heard Billy Donovan say something as everybody, oh, you're trying to defend your title and repeat. And he said, no, this is a new year. We're going after something. Whereas defending puts you on the deep end. It's not aggressive term. So really, that's been my approach. We probably ran more as far as conditioning. We have strength coach, Kenny Reeves, and his group of coaches with Limitless, I think have pushed us harder in the weight room. We have a really different team than we had last year. We lost 3 starters off of that team from last year. A couple of the other young men who came off the bench to help are no longer part of the program. So we really have a different team. And I think the freshness of the group, meaning there's so many new faces who are the primary contributors or whatever, made it easier than if, because they look around and don't see a lot of the faces who had made the things happen that happened last year. So the primary voice in the locker room is different. He was there last year, but Luke led last year. But wow, what he's done this year as far as leadership, and we all know the better teams are player-led and player-driven, not coach-led and coach-driven. And I think we've been able to enjoy this season because of, I'll be honest, the leadership of Luke Timmons.
Before I pass it on to VK, Coach, I want to talk about Division II Select. You guys are the 3 seed, defending Division II champions. You also have Carver, who are the defending Class 4A state champions. You have Madison Prep, who are also defending state champion. Archbishop Shaw, Division I semifinalist last year. Talk about Division II Select, because to me, it's the most competitive bracket out of all divisions.
I'm biased, but I agree with you. It is by far, I will even say it that way, it's by far the most competitive bracket that's out there on the boys' side. I don't know the girls, so I'm not going to say. And you're right. You just went through those teams. And I'll say there are some others out there. Landry, St. Michael's, Vanderbilt Catholic, who I guess is the upstart new to it all, who probably all could be in Lake Charles and hold up the trophy on the final night. We participated this year like we did last in Madison Prep's tournament right before Christmas. After that, Coach Jones called and we were just talking what you have left on the schedule, what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. Coaches talked. And he mentioned to me at that time that, Coach, man, y'all going to be okay. I saw y'all going to be good and all this stuff. And he goes, but I'm telling you, after that first round, there's about 8-10 schools who could be in Lake Charles. And I really hadn't paid that much attention at that time. It's not even Christmas. He was right. I guess Coach Jones had looked. This bracket is loaded. Coach West at Shaw, I messed with him and like, dude, y'all chose to come to this. You should have stayed D1. Because Shaw is really good. They have one of the best players in the state in Cam. He's that point guard running that thing. Coach West does a great job coaching them. They're always so well prepared. And you playing against a guy who, if it's late in the game, Cam's big shots, you got to guard him from 30 feet out. He can handle that rock. So he puts so much pressure on your team that Shaw's going to be a tough out. Carver, like you said, they have size, they have know-how, they have point guard, and they have a superior athlete. Madison Prep might have the highest rating of everybody in the state. They got like 50-something points. I'm like, man, this thing is crazy. And maybe the hottest team and most dangerous is Peabody.
Yeah.
Because so many of us are in the South, if you will, in Louisiana, we all know each other. They sitting up there from Alexandria just whipping everybody, and people don't talk about them and give them the credit. Coach Smith been doing this longer than Jeff and I combined. He is one of the icons of coaching in Louisiana, Coach Charles Smith. Back when I was first getting into it and learning all about this and going to top 28s at LSU and the Cajun Dome, especially the Cajun Dome when they really had it going. I remember they had to close it one time because Peabody was playing Washington Marion. They had so many people. in the Cajun Dome, the fire marshal came in and stopped the game.
I remember this.
People
I was
don't
there for that too.
Man, that was nuts. That's how basketball was, and we've got to get it back to that in Louisiana. But that was because of coaches like Charles Smith and programs like Peabody. And that's why I say with the new definition or term of select school, I'm not in the politics of it. It did get it closer to being like that. Because look at our division. Talking about Division II select now. You see some good basketball teams, whether you call them select or non-select. I just call them good basketball teams, good basketball programs, good basketball coaches. And they're, the good players, they want to play against each other.
Mm-hmm.
They really do. And I don't care the sport, football, basketball, baseball, they do. So to move basketball in the right direction, I like the fact that we've done what we've done. It'll help the state grow it back. When it was all one, look how many kids, and I know times have changed, but look how many young men we had around the state from north, south, east, west, signing to go play somewhere when their high school careers were over because they had to get in that gym and work to get to the top 28 and then eventually hopefully win the state title. Now, with so many, I remember Chris Jennings saying shortly after this happened at Jesuit, we were the Summer League game. And I think Chris was on point. I don't know if all of the young men realize now, do they have to put in all that time and work that hard? Because you might not be playing Madison Prep. You might not be playing Peabody. With this bringing this back together, you better get to work working. You're going to have to go through Madison Prep. You're going to have to go through Peabody. You got to go through George Washington Carver. So maybe it will get it back to the point where our younger guys are working and really working. And our coaches are having to really work and put that time in as well so they do justice by their players who is truly aspire and willing to work so they can go play beyond their high school careers. And that's why all of the coaches work so hard, competitive, and we would like to get to the Final Four and do those things and win a championship. But it's really so that there are no regrets. That's the way I coach. And that's the way I try and work. If a young man comes to me in our school, if he enlists in Archbishop Hand in 8th or 9th grade, and he goes to work and do all the things we're asking him to do, and we try and play a schedule that's competitive, and we tell them that, even for the 8th grade, we try and put them in competitive basketball situations. So as they move from 8th grade to 9th grade to JV to varsity, they see it and they experience it and they get it. Then when he goes across that stage to graduate and get his high school diploma, I want him to say, if he's just going to a 4-year school to go fill out his academic and vocational dreams, I want him to have no regrets and know I've done everything I could, and it just wasn't in the cards for me to go play college basketball. But if that was his dream and he really worked and was willing to work, and I was the one not willing to work and be there in the gym and open the gym for him, what did I do to help a young man try and fulfill his dream? And as coaches, isn't that what we're here to do?
That's
we're
right.
Here to
Yes,
motivate
sir.
them.
Yes.
We're here to discipline them and hold them accountable. But we're here to try and help them as 14, 16, 17-year-old young men. We're trying to give them a blueprint of, okay, here are your dreams. Here's the blueprint where it can possibly become a reality if you're willing to work. But we have to be in it together. And that's what we're here to do. And if we end up making Final Fours or top 28s and all of that stuff, great. I mean, and I'm serious. Every year I'm trying to. We may not make it, but I'm trying. But in the meantime, I also have to try and get this young man to academically, to socially, and spiritually move forward to where when he graduates from high school and gets his high school diploma, he has no regrets because he's done everything holistically to possibly fulfill his dream of becoming a college athlete. And
Coach,
that's I think with working.
Amazing.
Yes.
You sound a little like Coach Bird before the split came through, and he said that these kids want to play, and the state's gonna regret doing what they're gonna do, and you're just hoping that things will turn around. But you sound like Coach Bird on that last statement right there. But I gotta ask you this, and it is absolutely true. But I gotta ask you this: how it's been with the adjustment with the new team, especially one of your key players last season, Samaje McClendon, transferring back to going to John Curtis and everything. But how it's been the way your team has stepped up, especially the Timmons brothers,
Correct.
especially Luke Timmons. And I mean, we know Samaje. We talked about Samaje last year, how much he stepped up during the season and how much he played well in the championship game. But way Luke Timmons played, he played like a man that night. And like I said, maybe one of the best performances I probably seen in the state championship weekend, because you got a whole bunch of athletes for Liberty. But for him, not just the fact making jumpers, but for him to dribble, go through, get to the hole, make blocks, make plays. What you can say about how he has been, not just adjusting from not just the play last year, but for him this season and up in his play.
Drew had a phenomenal, I mean, out of body experience, some would say, performance in that state championship game against Liberty. He did everything. Like you said, he scored the post. He played like he was the point guard. He rebounded the ball. He drove the ball to the basket. He passed it. He did have a phenomenal performance. I'll tell you though, my wife, if I could get her to come on, she would best describe Drew Timmons. Drew's pretty much even keel, even after that performance, and that's how he's handled it all throughout this year. That was that Saturday night when we won against Liberty, and God blessed us. But later that week, Drew was back in the gym working. So were we surprised that night? I won't say surprised. I'll say you just don't expect a young man, I don't remember all those numbers, but to put up numbers like that. Then you say he's a freshman, and I think that's what really shocked everybody more than anything. But I don't think people who had followed, I don't think the guys on the team or the young men on the team were surprised. And I don't think the parents who had been following us throughout the year and even followed us his 8th grade year, where he started as an 8th grader, were all that surprised. Yeah, we're not expecting those numbers, but surprised that Drew played with such a composure? No. Competitive spirit? No. Toughness? No. Those things didn't surprise us. As far as the Samaje thing, we were blessed and quite fortunate that he came to attend Archbishop Hannon after the unfortunate hurricane of Ida messing up the river parishes and where he was living at the time. I thought Archbishop Hannon, talking about our administration and all of our teachers, faculty, staff, I thought they did a great job getting Samaje acclimated to Archbishop Hannon in the way we do things at the school academically. They really spent a lot of time with him, helping him and helping him grow as a student and a young man. I just thought it was unfortunate. He played with us throughout the summer. And then as we were starting up school in August, I thought it was unfortunate when I learned or heard he was transferring. But I also say this, in no time, I just thought it was unfortunate more for Samaje, put it that way, than I did the team, because I do see things as a holistic experience. And I thought him leaving Archbishop Hannon, he would be losing out on some of that. I've seen him a couple of times, and we've talked. Probably my fault. I haven't spoken to him more than I have. I hope this senior year has been good for him. I know Curtis is still in the playoffs, had a big win, Friday night. So I hope he's doing, I wish him nothing but the best. So I hope he's doing well. But once he did make that decision to transfer, or his family, however it came about, like I said, I really did think, Samaji is a strong personality. And I said, we're going to have, now that he's gone, we're going to count on some young guys. Maybe this is better for them to grow as players, but grow as people. So I was like, it's going to be interesting. It really, I think, for a couple of the young men, it might have been, I don't know if it's good for the team, but for them and their growth as people and players, I thought it was probably, what they say, God gives you what you need, not what you want.
Right.
So
Right.
in having faith in God, I really thought, this is probably what the team needs, even though we don't want to see Samaji go. And, the young men never, I think a few of them called, reached out, see if he would come back, stuff like that. But I think once we went to work, they weren't crying about spilt milk, if you will. And I hate saying it that way. But they didn't hang their heads. They just went to work and saw it as, okay, here's what we have. Man, if we want to have some success, we got to go to work. And they did. They went to work, made the commitment that was needed. And now we'll see if we can get it to pay off as we begin this playoff run. And like I said, I think our second round, but our first game, because we had a bye Friday, it's a challenging game with Benton. And that's why I said Coach Jones was right, man. Our sneakers better be tied now. We better take that drawstring and put a good knot in them shorts tomorrow and go to work.
Absolutely. And I want to ask you this about going into it, and I know it's one game at a time. You guys played a tough schedule, and you guys had a similar second half to last season, and you really finished strong again. Do you think that that second half this season can help your team going forward? And also, not trying to look ahead, but how how it's gonna be if you guys meet up with another defending champion in Carver, and you got yourself and Coach Nathaniel Roche, who has been done wonders at that program, and it's something else when you got all kind of people in the brackets. You got legends, you got good coaches, also young coaches that's really making an impact as well.
And I'll go right to Coach. I think what he is doing is awesome. Winning last year, how much credit did he get because of the young men he had on that team? He's got a Texas signee, an Alcorn signee, a Kansas State signee. Everybody's saying, "Oh, I coached that team in the state championship. Oh, who can't win with all that talent?" Everybody hears those things. You don't think he heard those things? So you don't think he's out to show? But no, we had a lot of talent. Let's not downplay that. But I also know what I'm doing here as well. Sometimes it might be harder to coach all that talent and get them on the same page or to play collectively. So, everybody wants to criticize, but till you walk in that man's shoes, give him credit. So, I do know we played, our schedule this year overall may have been more challenging than last year. And obviously we all as basketball coaches make our schedule in April and May or whatever. And, I did think we were going to have a couple young men, Samaji being one of them, back who we don't. And that's just the way it played out. But our young men really, I'll be honest, they really came together and have responded. And I'm very proud. All coaches, I guess, say that, but I am very proud of them. The second half of the season, I'll say since into January, once again, had a couple losses in there. But I think sometimes you can learn a lot from those losses. You'd rather learn and win, but sometimes a loss can be more of a reality check to a 16-year-old than just a coach telling him, "Hey, man, we're not doing this as well as we need to do if you want to be ultimately successful as you'd like to be or as you say you'd like to be." But I'm super proud of young men. That win at Salmon, the last game of the season for the district championship, I don't remember the date, I'll be honest. But we finished with Laranja. You're talking about a coach who's done an amazing job. Dustin Easley in his 2 years at Laranja to get that program moving as quickly as he had moving forward. But I was super proud of our young men. Salmon's a talented basketball team. And Coach Young does a good job with those young men. For us to go there, and I'll be honest, in my opinion, I thought we really controlled that game. And I know Salmon made a good run at us a couple times in the second half, but I thought our young men, bumps along the way, but they kept their composure. We may have made mistakes, but they never panicked. And I was like, that's when I said, man, we have grown up. We face stuff like this at home sometimes, and we didn't show the composure we showed at Selma in a game for the district championship because both teams were undefeated in district on the last district game. So, the only negative I'll say is that was 12 days ago or something like that, and we haven't played. That's been the biggest negative. But we've had some good practices. We've had some good film sessions. I thought getting back to the weight room as hard as we did, I thought Coach Reeves and his staff did a good job with our guys as we got back in there. So I thought today's practice, when I got home, I was talking to my wife, we talked about it, and my daughter said something. I was telling them, I thought our guys had a little pop to them. So I'm interested to see what happens tomorrow. We're going to need to have that in a high competitive spirit as Bolton gets to town because, like I said, they present some problems.
Well, I'm gonna ask you this one more thing, and I'm gonna let Jared finish things off. And I know you have, I think you have daughters, I believe. I think you have one or two little girls, I believe.
One daughter, she's a senior this year. Very proud of her.
Okay, cool. Because I have a daughter myself, so a 4-year-old.
So like Kobe made it cool for all of us to be girl dads.
Absolutely. To be honest, I wanted a boy at first, but when I found out I was having a girl, I settled in with it, and that's my blood, and I love her to death.
Amen
But
to that.
yes, sir. I'm gonna ask you this, and I'm gonna let Jared take over and finish it off. You know, over the years, and I've been knew about you. But when I first really finally seen who you were was the state championship game between St. Thomas Aquinas and Riverside, and a good Riverside team that's probably had the smallest team in the state, and you guys really hung with them, took them to the limit. Riverside won it, but you guys really took them to the limit more
You
than
had to
anything
remind me of
else.
that, huh?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Coach. It was just, but it was just I admired that way because I was thinking, I said Riverside is beating some good teams. They're tough, and I'm looking at St. Thomas Aquinas, and I'm like, man, these guys is playing. This is unbelievable, and I'm like, and it made me admire you as a coach because I was like, man, this is a good coach. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. And then we talked after and everything else, and I'm like, how much a relationship you and Coach Bird has. But at the same time, looking at it years later, because all of a sudden you beat Liberty, and I said it to you after the championship. I said second biggest upset in the history of the top 28 because there've been some great teams, but then all of a sudden that one team knocks them off. And it's almost like if they win it, you look at their resume, it's like one of the best championship teams up there. And Liberty could have been on the list, but now they took it down. You look at Carver 2 years ago with that great team, and McMain takes them down. And I said that's the biggest upset because of the fact of the matter was that, you looked at Carver's resume, that would have been, oh my goodness. But the question is this: how it is for you as a coach? Do you think that state championship last year was probably one of your biggest victories you ever had as a coach? But not just that. This is Black History Month. We're almost near entering everything else. How is you as an African American really has navigated things in your coaching career, especially through two programs that's predominantly, Caucasian and white most of the time?
Great question. First I start off talking about that loss against Riverside. That team, there were some special young men on that team. We had like 12 losses, and then made, I don't really remember any records, but I know we had a bunch of losses. Then we sort of found our way at the Sugar Bowl and got better, and then we upset Winfield in the semifinals, go against Riverside finals. And that was the last year, I think, before they split into this select, non-select stuff. But, you know, we went to Monroe. That's where the championship game was then. And I thought our young men, I really thought we were going to win that game. We believed it, but Timmy and his crew hit 2 big threes in the last 2 minutes. They got it. But the biggest win, to answer your question, I'll be honest, might have been, and I think it might have been just a big upset as us beat, is the first state championship beat Madison in the Cajun Dome. They actually wound up in shirts that said back-to-back because they went the year before. And the year before, in the second round, they beat us. You know, back then, the bracket was predetermined. You know, you could look when the season started, and you would know, oh, if I win the district, here's going to be teams I have to play from this district, this district, this district.
Yeah.
So we played them on Mardi Gras Day at our place, and they hit a 3 with 4 seconds left. That Showers makes 2 free throws to put us up 1. They hit a 3 to go up 2 with 4 seconds left, and Ben Hughes shoots a shot from half court that rattles in and pops up from maybe 2 feet across. But we lost the game. But I do that gave everybody, including Coach Gauff, the confidence. The things we were doing, they were correct because we watched Madison Prep. We didn't see the next game, the quarterfinal, but a lot of St. Thomas young men. I mean, we watched Madison Prep. I don't know who it was, but they whipped somebody in the semifinals and then whipped some in the finals. And I got like, Coach, we were that close. Like, yeah. Lo and behold, we didn't know what would happen. But the next year, we in the state championship game, and who are we playing? Madison. And we were confident that as we can play. They warmed up with those back. So when in Louisiana, we were able to beat them. And I think that's when it really solidified that the things we were doing work. It does pay off if you persevere. And last year, you saw that again when I think most of those people saying the Cajun Dome were saying when the 2 teams ran out there to warm up, and we heard the snickers when we came out there to warm up against St. Michael's. Wait up. This is Hannon? Well, sort of the same things I'd heard when we were at St. Thomas. And now I'm hearing again at Hannon. Our players had played an incredible schedule. Our players had made a commitment. Our players had a faith and a confidence. So was it the second biggest upset? I mean, I know Liberty had quite a squad. I think 5 or 6 of those young men went on to sign to play college basketball. But on that night, our young men had a faith and a determination that was second to none. Was it the biggest upset, second biggest upset, all that? I don't know. The greatest victory, I've had a lot of victories. I've been blessed. God has truly blessed me. I'm not going to say one was more so than the other, but I do say the victory against Madison Prep, and maybe even that loss at Madison Prep, because I remember how our players were when they saw the semifinals and finals and how close they were, knowing that they hit a shot with 4 seconds, a 3, and from about 4 feet behind the three-point line, he shoots a turnaround jumper and makes it. And then ours rims in and out, and we lose. We're that close. So that may have been the greatest, even though we lost on the scoreboard, that might have been the greatest victory in Coach Gauff's career as a basketball coach.
Wow.
Well, Coach, we want to thank you for joining us. Good luck tomorrow night against Bolton, and Good luck in the rest of the playoffs also, Coach. So we wish you the best of luck.
And Coach, thank you so much, man. You know what I'm saying? And all I know last season before that game last year, I had a feeling I said the Liberty was gonna win, but my biggest thing was I said do not underestimate Coach Gauff's team. They will take you down to the wire. But I was very, very happy when y'all guys really handled business and got it done. Because I was like, man, that I was like, that's big for Hannon, but that's big for Coach Gauff. That's big time for him.
You know, it was big for Archbishop. But, you know, the second part of the question you asked I've gotten, you know, being a black coach at a predominantly institution, STA, and now at Archbishop Hannon, I say it comes with great responsibility, only in the fact that the responsibility is showing people that what we've all, in whatever our profession, yours as a journalist, if given the opportunity, that's all we can ask for. Give us the opportunity and judge us and treat us just like you would judge and treat anyone else. Like I said, I cannot do it alone. If it's not my wife allowing me to do it and spend so much time at the gym and watch film, and I miss outings that she and my daughter may go to because we have practice teams. So I know it starts there, but then, you know, the schools to just like they would support anybody else. And I know it's not the world. It would be ideal if people wouldn't even look at color. But like I said, that's not what happens. And it's not the real world as we do. I don't think I might, I don't even know it. I might get judged that way. I hope that people just get to know me as a person and realize that I'm not looking at color. I'm just looking at a young man, looking at a student athlete, looking at a human being that God has created. And, you know, Pope Benedict said something. Now, it hangs over our door window, and the young men have to sit in the locker room, and we frequently refer to it. And you know, this world promises you ease, but you were not made for that. You were made by God for greatness. And that's how we try and attack things, and we're in his image. So I just see him as that. We're made for greatness now. I work them hard, hold them accountable, love them. They are my sons. We talked about it. I don't have them that way, and we work that way and get together. And whatever happens, happens. And I think I would hope these schools look at us as people as that way. We were made for greatness. Now give us the opportunity. Let us do it our way. Don't cookie cutters. No cookie cutter way. My way might be different from his way. Coach Jones does a great job at Madison Prep. His way and Coach Gauff's way are different. But we both, thank God, have had some degree of success, but they're different ways. Coach Smith's been doing this for 30, 40 years. He's had tons of success, and he does it different from Coach Jones and I. So there is no one way to do it. You have to let that person do what's comfortable for him and what's right for him. And don't judge him by the color of his skin. Just let him do it and see if he can do it his way. And that's why I say, yeah, I'm extra proud to feel that St. Thomas Aquinas and Archbishop Hannon have both entrusted Errol Gauff to lead their basketball programs. And I'm proud that God has given me opportunity to lead good groups of young men and their families at both good institutions and fine institutions. And we've had some degree of success. So that's why when you ask me about this, I say I've truly been blessed, and I'll be glad to tell everybody. And that's how I've been blessed.
Most definitely. Thank you, Coach, for joining us. Good luck tomorrow and the rest of the playoffs. We appreciate you. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I hope we can do well. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
No problem.
Yes, sir. That is Coach Errol Gauff, the head coach of the Archbishop Hannon Hawks boys basketball team. Now,
it's kind of hard to say that, huh?
Yeah, not really. I just made a mistake.
Because like Archbishop Shaw, you know. I know you because you used to it.
I know. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Before bringing Lamar Gafford, you said biggest upset was McMahon over Carver, right?
Yes.
Okay. Many upsets. There have been upsets in the top 28, even in championships. I still say one of the biggest is the 97 Star team defeating Bird, who was ranked in the nation.
That's
Down
hard.
by 12 with down by 12 with 2 minutes.
I never knew that Bird was ranked in the nation. We knew
Yes.
Bird was a good program, but Bird, basically what happened to Bird was the reverse of what happened in '94. How they got by and upset St. Aug, and now the reverse flipped more than anything else. I did not know that Bird was that good at that time. I did not know that. But at the same time, I'm saying that because, and not just the fact of me watching top 28, but for me covering it. For Bird, yeah, but that's good. But I still say that's the biggest one because Carver, and you had to look at their record and the teams they beat. They would have had one of the best resumes, and to
big
me,
time.
maybe
Big
one
time.
of to me they would have topped, and to me, the best overall. There's two best championship resumes I ever seen was the Glen Oaks 94, the Glen Oaks 90 were three of them. The Newman 93, Glen Oaks 94, and Landry Walker 2014. Those were the three best championship resumes you'll ever see. And reason why I say 2014 Landry Walker, look up who they beat that year and look at the state champions that year. Andrew Walker basically beat them all. So that is up there with one of the best championship resumes that I've ever seen. There might be real good other ones. We can't forget our Peabody one year. Peabody had a hell of a resume. That's one team that had a 1-year resume that was great. Carroll had a couple of great championship teams with a very good resume. So we're talking about not just championship, but looking at the schedule and record of what they had and the teams they beat. And Carver would have been right up there with one of the best teams ever. And McMahon ended that on a controversial call more than anything else. But then last year, Liberty having a very good record, beat a lot of good teams. But for them, they presented a very, looked like it was going to be matchup trouble for Hannon. But Hannon, I knew that Coach Gauff would have him ready to play. But I just did not expect Hannon to just step up and did what they did, caught on fire, and kept the foot on the throat and didn't let up. So didn't expect that at all. And that was just huge for Hannon, and that was huge for Coach Gauff and his team because he always prepares teams, especially if your team is bigger than them, it don't matter. He's gonna put them on the floor, and they're gonna fight you all the way in. He's gonna get his team to find ways to get it done or keep you in the game or anything else.
All right. We bring in Mr. Lamar Gaffer. Lamar, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm pretty good. Just reminiscing about all these upsets and everything. I remember that Peabody game very fondly when they played against Wasman. Still, that's still kind of one of the most shocking things there. And also remembering y'all talking about my alma mater, Bird. That's another one there too. But hey, it is what it is. I'm happy to be all here with y'all.
Thank you, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, yes, sir. Well, right now, currently doing this independently with Sinlaw Preps. We got a website called sinlawpreps.com. So still doing some of the same stuff that I've been doing with the Town Talk that I did for 7.5 years. I enjoy this. I mean, I love this. And, as always with the basketball time is me and VK always know here, this is the most fabulous time of the year. And every time we go down for the boys championships, it's like it's like a big family reunion.
Most definitely. Let's get into the boys playoffs right quick. I'm going to Division One non-select. No, Division One select is what I'm gonna start off with. Alexandria travels to Scotlandville tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about their chances against pretty much one of the best teams in the state?
I think it's going to be a little bit tough for the Trojans in this one. I mean, I've seen them a couple of times this year, and what they've been dealing with so far this season has just been an influx of youth. It's just been inconsistent sometimes here and there. I mean, we all know that Lance Brasher, I mean, his teams are going to come out to play no matter what happens. I mean, they went to New Orleans. They got to win against Jesuit. So we know the talent is there, with Jalen Johnson and the Johnson brothers that they have out there. But it's just, I guess, going up into Scotlandville, going into that hornet's nest, proverbially, basically, I think it's going to be a little bit tough right there for them this season. I think they pretty much knew that this season was going to be kind of a rebuilding year. Seeing them a couple of times where they might have given up some leads here and there that they probably wouldn't have in the years past has kind of been interesting to see. But only a year's time, they're probably going to get a little bit better. But I just think this one's going to be a little bit tough for them.
All right. Also in Division I select, number 10, St. Paul's from Covington is coming to Pineville. Tell us a little bit about Pineville and their chances for tomorrow night also.
I'm interested in seeing this Pineville team. This will be my second time seeing them this year. A great senior-led team. I mean, Evan Gorey is one of their top point getters that they have out there, but they also got Edric Coleman as one of their guards, and Javante Thomas down low as far as like a double-double machine inside. I'm interested in seeing what this Pineville squad can do because we've seen in years past that, they might have started off slow, but then they kind of picked up a little bit of steam once they got to the end of the year. It seemed like this season they kind of stayed afloat pretty much for most of the year and was able to get that 7 seed for them. So that's a big thing for them. Able to get a couple of wins here and there in that tough district in 2-5A, but of course was still able to kind of find their way in the middle of the pack. I'm really interested in seeing what they do. I think that they can get a win out there, but also we know how good St. Paul's is as well.
We talked to Coach Gauff earlier today, and he talked about Peabody.
Mm-hmm.
He says pretty much for us that live in the southern part of Louisiana, Peabody is a forgotten team. Now, where you are, I'm sure Peabody is pretty much the talk of the town.
Yes.
Tell us about Peabody.
He knows. Oh, he knows. Trust me, that Lamar Galvin knows. Go ahead, tell him.
Well, I'll tell you what, this year's squad, of course, started off 0-3, but you still got guys like Kevin Jones, who is their senior, but also their top guy on the squad. But then you also got guys in the middle here, pretty much Jordan Matthews, who's been kind of running a little bit of point guard for them this year. And then, of course, Burns as well, one of their top rebounders. But they have a very good guard that's a sophomore. His name escapes me at this point. But, as the season has gotten further a little along, and even including when seeing him play against Ash in the Hall of Fame game where he was making some shots, he adds an extra dimension to this team and something that they had kind of been missing out a little bit. So I like their chances of getting down there to Lake Charles. I would definitely love to see that matchup between them and Hanan, just to see what goes on with that one. And, possibly the winner would get Madison Prep. So I would like to see that one as well.
All right.
Go
ahead, VK.
I'm gonna ask you this right quick. Like, before I let Jared continue, man, I'm like, you said it was a softball that slipped your mind.
Yes.
Don't you work at the school?
Oh,
they must got a lot of students that go there.
They do.
No. I don't mean to do that to that man.
Yeah,
I don't mean to do that. It's just a fact sometimes, because you have to think about that. Come on, Jared. Here's the thing. Now, if you're into it, and I'm not gonna criticize Lamar, that's my man.
Yes.
I'm just saying, because sometimes when you're in certain departments and you work at the school, I know if Peabody has the enrollment almost close to John Eric, that's an understandability, because sometimes it might be hard to see the certain students. But I know you're probably close to a lot of the administration. You're probably a little closer to the legend Charles Smith.
Oh, yes.
So I'm kind of surprised. Like, wait a minute. It's almost like, what? You know what I'm saying?
For the record, Rashad Mitchell. That's his name. For the record, Rashad Mitchell. He's been making a lot of 3-pointers for them so far this season, and especially as it gotten along late in the year. So
you redeemed yourself,
he's going to be a
brother.
guy to watch.
Good job.
Here we go.
Good job, bro.
Sorry, Mr. Mitchell.
Now you straight, bro. Because we slip up sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're not perfect, but I know you probably look close to the thing. Don't mean to call you out like that, because we both, me and Jared both sometimes get it wrong because we slip up on certain names because we're like, man, the name was slipping. But also later on, it pops like boom, like
exactly.
Jared, go ahead, man. I know you had that question, my man.
After this question, I'm gonna pass it to you, VK.
Yes, sir.
We're going back to Archbishop Hannon. Bolton is coming to town. Do you like their chances? Do they have a shot to defeat the defending Division II state champions?
And it's crazy with this Bolton team. I mean, they've been paying with pretty much house money all, especially once they got to district play. By the way, got their first playoff win, and God knows when. In the modern era, at least that they call it for them. I mean, they celebrated a banner year for them because this was their first district championship that they had in 49 years.
Wow.
They had a very good senior group led by Jalen Welch. Double machine, getting a lot of points and assists for them this season. Cedric Standiford as well for them as well. I think obviously I will go with Hannon in this one though too. I just think the Bears, they're showing that they're probably not going to be scared at this point. But I'm interested in seeing what their seniors do. I really am. But I think that this is probably going to be the second round done for them. But by no means is this a bad season for them. I mean, I think they'll, carry that up, banner that all the way through, and that's pretty much for them.
Well, Lamar, I gotta ask you this, as we still sticking on to the boys' side more than anything else. We'll get to the girls in a second because I know you got a couple Sin-Laws that's coming down and playing in Hammond. First of all, get that, and you cover not just Sin-Law, but you look into all aspects of prep basketball as well, working with Scoreboard Live. 3 things. 1, give me a team that superiorly is going to be guaranteed state champion, knowing everything else. Give me a team that's going to shock everybody and probably win the state championship or get there. And give me an upset.
Man, it's going to be interesting here. I kind of am a little bit partial to the North. So obviously I would like to see Wasman be one of those teams, at least in Division II. I would like to see them get there. I know Casey Jones. I mean, he's been knocking on the door for such a long time. Seems like every year he gets to the finals, and unfortunately for one single reason, they just never could make it past there. He has a number 1 seed once again. I think he possibly can get there once again. I would just like to see him win it for his school. I mean, obviously he went there. That's his school, all that stuff. I just love to see him possibly get a chance to do it, honestly. Just trying to figure out any upsets. I know we were talking a little bit about this in a private conversation, VK. What about North Shore? This might be their chance of possibly doing it. They got there last year. They might have a chance of possibly getting there once again. I like the Robe Adam kid. Very good guy. Some of our coaches, even one of our coaches around here, actually called him kind of like Luka in a way, basically off the way that he plays and all that stuff. But possibly they could get there. I mean, I think Division I non-select kind of opens up a little bit more now with Zachary being out of there. And I think maybe if there is a lock, I probably would say I would go down to Division V. Select, I would probably say maybe Avoyles Charter. They just been so good this season. The only loss they had was against Southwood, and that was a close loss for them this year. They've beaten some 5A teams. And so I think this might be the time for Antonio Okie Benjamin over there, for them to get a win this season. And I just think they've been one of our best teams around in the area, and basically been the top team in my rankings so far this year.
Jared, I'm gonna ask you that same question. Can you give us that right quick if you could, since we have this little panel.
I mean, you asked 3 questions. Repeat your questions one more time.
It's not. It's a 3-in-1. One, your lock to win it all. Your surprise team that could win the state championship or get there, and an upset.
All right. My lock is definitely Madison Prep. That's Madison Prep in Scotlandville, hands down. A team that can get there
or win it.
Get there or win it. I'm going to say, I had this the other day. To be honest with you, give me a second. I can't remember which bracket is in. I got it right here. Team that could get there or win it. Walker. I said Walker boys. I think they can get there and win it. An upset that can happen. To be honest with you, an upset that can happen. I'm going to Division I select, and I would say Catholic of Baton Rouge would be my upset. That would be my upset.
Somebody was saying something that Kelly might not get there. Oh,
that's why
the tide is turned.
That's why I'm saying upset, because I don't think they can get there. But if they do, that's a major upset.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
Yes.
I got it.
Yes,
I
sir.
got it. All right. It's my turn here. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go first with the team that's gonna be surprising to get there, a team that could get there and win it. I'm gonna say North Shore that can get there and win it. I'm gonna say North Shore. I'm gonna stick to my guns. The team, the lock that can get there and win it. I'm gonna say 2 teams: Scotlandville, Crescent City. Scotlandville, Crescent City. Upset. This is gonna be kind of bold here on this one, and I don't know if this is gonna happen, but I'm gonna roll the dice with LB Landry. Roll the dice on LB Landry over Madison Prep. Rolling the dice. Battle tested team. And I think if they play with a no fear attitude, that's gonna be a hell of a quarterfinals. So I'm going with LB Landry. Probably, and that'll be a huge upset if they pull it off against Madison Prep. But it will be a game that go down to the wire.
And LB Landry getting back their best player from injury also.
Exactly. So I'm thinking going that way. Lamar, gotta ask you this about your small. I know those small schools and everything you mostly cover as well. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about non-select Division 5. What are your thoughts about that division? To me, there were 3. Jared said 2 divisions out of the divisions are really tough. That's 1 and 2. I say 3. 1, 2, and non-select 5. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts about that? Because I think that's the ultimate fighting championship division, especially with the best of the best, like Anacoco and Zawali and all that. Now they're going to go to war for 1 title. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's how it's going to be. I mean, Anacoco, Zawali, Fairview, those 3 teams right there. Zawali does not have to worry about facing against both of those teams just to get there, but Anacoco and Fairview would have to face against the other 2 in order to get there. Like you said, it's going to be a war. Anacoco's already played against Zawali, I think, about 3 times this season, and I think Anacoco has won at least 2 of those 3 matchups there. So it's been really close between those teams there. And of course, I've got a chance to see them this year Dustin Welch is one of their top players for Anacoco. It's only a junior. He's number 4 for them, but he's definitely one of their main point getters for them this season. And of course, Fairview, they have Brett Jinks, who is the son of the girls basketball coach over there, Kyle Jinks. So he can also get buckets as well. And so, and of course, we already know with Zwali and what they bring to the table, their history, their long time history that they have out there. It's going to be competitive as heck once we get down to the Lake Charles for that matchup. I think Anacoco has the pieces to possibly win that. I wouldn't count out Fairview, but also I have to give some respect also to Zwali because they've been pretty good so far this season. They've beaten some 5A teams like Natchitoches Central, who I know is down, but of course there's still 5A team that at least carries some weight there.
Absolutely. Let's go to the girls' side. You got a couple of teams down there for the top 28 and everything else. Tell us your thoughts about the Peabody girls being in the semifinals, I think, for the first time in a long, long time. But also, do you think, and we talked about this before you came on, that division, I believe Division 3 or 4 with Southern Lab potentially going against Northwood Lena. Do you think that could be potentially the game of the week if these two meet in the state title game?
And I'll go ahead and answer that one too. Right now, that could be a great game. I think both of these teams have kind of already had a feeling that they were going to face against each other. Not only a matter of if, but when, basically. And I think that could be one of the candidates for game of the week. I know there's some other candidates as well. Of course, in the smaller divisions with Fairview facing against Hathaway, for example, student and teacher, part 3. That could be another good one there. And of course, in the big division, pretty much with Parkway and maybe Ponchatoula or whoever else they might have to face, or Walker, maybe if that's the case. That could also be a pretty solid game, regardless of what happens there. But I think that could be a very good matchup. This Northwood team, not scared at all. I know they don't have a deep bench, but they have the top 1 to 5 basically got a lot of players that can really contribute. And of course, Southern Lab has some players that can contribute as well. So I think that could be a very good, even matchup there. As far as Peabody is concerned, the times around here, we're feeling pretty happy about it. And I'm just saying we as a faculty, basically. But, and the good thing is we're at least getting half a day for this. So shout out to our administration for that. First time in 15 years to making it down there. 3 great seniors for them for this season. Latradise McNeil, Katrina Lavallee, and Catrill Earthley. They've been working together all season. Also, you have Gary Stewart, former Vidalia great that took them to a state championship game back in 2009 and also played for Northwestern State when they last made it to the NCAA tournament and lost to Florida. So a lot of big game experience for those girls. They're going to try to see what they can do against LCA and try to see if they can slow down Jada Richard. Of course, we know amazing player there, but they got senior leadership, and that's the one thing that you can kind of hope for in these cases.
Very, very much agree. Looking at the week coming up here, I mean, you had an upset earlier today. You talked about that in the top 28 and everything, and it's going to be a wild week. What matchups, and let's go outside of Sinla, which matchups you're looking forward to? Division 1 with non-select with Ponchatoula and Walker, or possibly getting back to state championship game, going to Keller Williams and Parkway if they can get by. Or you're looking at maybe Lafayette Christian getting to another, obviously Lafayette Christian getting another championship, but then also the Division 2, the Division 2 selects. Which matchups you thinking that looks really good coming up in a week?
Yeah, definitely. I'll say once again, I think one of those matchups could possibly be Northwood and Southern Lab. I like seeing probably Walker facing against Parkway. That could be another one. I'll give you another one too in Division One Select. I think John Curtis against Lafayette should be also a pretty interesting matchup because Lafayette has been a very good team. They made it here last year. Unfortunately, lost. Haven't seen Krista Narcisse play, but I've seen some film of her, mainly because I follow her on Twitter. And one thing I said to some of the guys down there who covered the sports down there, Megan Glover and also Jamarcus Fitzpatrick, I just said that girl good, basically. And she is an amazing player. And of course, we know Curtis has been pretty solid all the way through. Rose Pine and A Meat, that might be another one that I'm also interested in seeing. I know Rose Pine doesn't have too many players that really jump off the page other than their backcourt of Kelly Norris and also Addison Frugier, but they've been a team that has worked very well as a team. They're kind of like the Spurs in a way where they just work well together with each other. And of course, we know A Meat have not dropped off one bit since losing Jen Pierre to now going to Southeastern. They got the Haley Brumfield, who's really playing pretty well herself. So that's going to be a good matchup of backcourts. I'm just excited all the way through. Oakdale already shocked me. I mean, in this one, I mean, they were a 9 seed. We didn't think that they would just get there. They would go further and all that stuff. But then you bank in a 3 here, and now you're in the state championship game, first time ever. And so I had 10 teams down. I know I'm going to be very busy on Friday. I potentially have almost every single game. I'm gonna be busy, but it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be some good basketball.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, I'm gonna ask you this. It's a little bit of an issue. I'm gonna ask you this here. I found out today and everything else that the big change that people can pay for one session instead of just getting kicked out, which is great. But there's been a internet shortage around Southeast Louisiana, around South SLU, and meaning that people is going to come there with money, with cash to pay tickets and for concessions and parking. And then even a rule to the coaches and I think even media that if you're in there, you got to stay in there. You cannot leave out. What are your thoughts about those changes in some of these rules? I don't know how true it is with the media and coaches you can't come back in, you leave and all that stuff. I don't know how true that is, but explain everything and what's going on.
Yeah, so like you said, there is a campus-wide outage with the internet and everything. They're hoping to possibly get it restored in time, possibly at the end of the week. But just in case if they don't, they're just acquiring every single person to bring cash. I know it's something that a lot of people don't do in 2023 because all you just got to do just whip out the card. That's basically pretty much it. But I guess we're just gonna have to go back to the old school way of just having the 20s and all that good stuff out there, and just hopefully they could be able to pay for cash and all that. I know the one thing for us, we have to have our own hotspots, so of course that's going to be something to be interested in seeing. So I can imagine those cell phone bills going up a little bit more, but hey, it is what it is in order to try to get our work and try to serve you, the fans out there as well.
Well, I definitely gonna have to bring my hotspot myself because I'm supposed to be out there on Wednesday and Thursday. So I'm definitely gonna make sure I bring my hotspot more than anything else for that time. But I gotta ask you this one thing, and Jared's gonna go ahead and take over from there. You was at the Red River Conference tournament, which was in Alexandria.
Yes.
As two good championship games. I believe the girls, I think it was it LSU Shreveport women
and
that won?
Texarkana. Yeah.
Yeah.
Texarkana won. Yeah.
Texarkana came up with the victory, winning it, and they still maintain. I believe they're the number one team in the nation, or number 2, one of the two.
Yeah. I know they're ranked pretty highly. They got 25 wins in a row for them.
Wow.
So, yeah, they were good.
Wow. Tell us your thoughts about the girls' championship, but also tell us about the men Xavier University of New Orleans, Xavier University of Louisiana. Alfred Williams, what a job he has turned around this program. He's done it. Won the conference championship, beating LSU Shreveport, a very good LSU Shreveport team. Tell us about those two championship games.
Yeah, I think on the men's side especially, you kind of had a feeling it was going to come down between either Xavier, Shreveport, or Texarkana. Those three teams have been pretty much above the cream of the crop of that one. For Xavier to come out there and win that one, tip my cap off to them. Having to go through, just go through Shreveport, which basically defeated Louisiana Christian in overtime the day before, just so in order to get there on a 3-pointer, which basically they had to hit 3 free throws as time expired just to get into this point. That says a lot there. And of course, shout out to Texarkana for also continuing their stretch. I will also say though, about the tournament itself, everybody has been always talking about having LSUA and LC playing the game at the Coliseum and all that stuff instead of just having a home and home. But why not play it at the Coliseum? And the crazy thing is, we got that wish not just on the boys' side, but also on the girls' side, which LC won both of those games. Now, I know, obviously, LC and LSUA, the men, they probably have a little bit of a gripe of playing at 8 a.m., just in order to play a basketball game. But, I think that is one thing that could do a lot for the area as well. But, we'll have to see what LSUA does this season as far as, like, do they get into the tournament? I know Cordero's still coaching those guys out there very hard and all that stuff. They haven't I know they may be a little bit down from what we've seen them, but they're still a dangerous team out there. And then, of course, LC, we always know that they continue to play hard with Rennie Mason and, of course, Anna Phillips on the girls' side right there. They continue to play hard for those squads as well. But overall, great tournament for on both sides.
Lamar, we will get you out of here on this last question that I have. You talked about Lafayette girls.
Mm-hmm.
You think they can give John Curtis a very, very good test?
I think so. I mean, it'll be very interesting to see what happens on that one because I know that John Curtis is always going to have some pretty solid players that they do have. And, of course, they've have themselves a very solid program. But I also think Krista Narcisse is a pretty solid player in her own right as well. This is a girl that's averaging 23 points per game. And, basically for last year, everybody was talking about that Final Four when they were in the at least at the public side here with them, Walker, Parkway, and just with them being out there and Ponchatoula being out there in it. People were saying, man, this was probably the greatest Final Four that we could have ever had. And no matter who makes it in there, we'll probably be very happy. And it turned out we were very happy about it. But I just think, again, the experience that they had just of making it there last year, I think that could also help them out this year. And I think that could be a very good matchup on that side.
I hope it happens.
I hope it happens too.
I've heard about Lafayette, and we know about John Curtis, 6 straight state championships. So I think it's the matchup that everybody wants to see, to be honest with you.
And then I think, you talked about potentially Walker and Parkway meeting in the final. I'm like, don't sleep on Ponchatoula. Don't sleep. Don't sleep on the defending champions. And here's the thing, and some people are going to be like, and I know the LGR people are like, don't sleep. This is a battle-tested team. Look at their schedule and who they played. I'm telling you, there's a reason why they're on a run right now. So I'm telling you this. Walker is going to come for payback, but Walker is going to have to play 4 quarters to knock off Ponchatoula. That's the only way that they're going to get by and get to the title game. Because
it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Lamar. Go ahead.
I was just about to say, Taylor Jackson, even in that game that we were talking about last year, between Jaylee Womack and Michaela Williams. We were just so fixated on her, but we were so fixated. We kind of forgot about the number twos of both of those squads. Taylor Jackson was very solid in that game. It seems like this season she's really come along pretty well this year. And let's not forget about for Parkway, Chloe Larry. He's also a very solid point guard, and especially when she can get hot, she's amazing. So don't sleep on those two either.
And then the X factor for Ponchatoula, like Taylor Jackson she had over 30 against Zachary, but don't
She
sleep.
stepped up big time.
She stepped up big time. But then here's the thing, and if the LGR is watching this, don't sleep on Alyssa Hilliard. Don't sleep on her. She's a sophomore. She's averaging 17 a game. And so far in the big games, she just been shelling out and handling business, and just a sophomore. So I tell you, I think the supporting cast from last year with Kelly Womack has really stepped up. They had a rough start in the beginning, but now it's like they're really coming together. They just got to cut down on mistakes. Me and Jared talked about the one thing they got to do. They just can't make two. They're going to make mistakes, but they just got to cut it down. Just be minimal with it. And I think so far what we've seen is really good with Coach Trish. I think Coach Landus has done a great job with this program, especially what they have done this year after trying to, defend their title, especially what they lost from last season.
Lamar, my friend, thank you for joining us. We're definitely going to have you on again. We appreciate you coming on, my friend.
Hey, I can't wait. Thank y'all for having me as well, and I can't wait to be on once again. Let's do it.
Yes,
no
sir,
problem.
Definitely.
I'll see you, I guess, on Thursday, I think. We'll probably see each other Thursday.
Oh, you'll see me Thursday.
Yeah,
you'll
definitely.
see me Thursday. All right, see y'all later.
Thank you.
Lamar Gafford of Sindler Preps giving us his rundown of things. Now we're going to bring in George Peppers right quick. George Peppers, what's going on, man?
Not too much, man. What y'all up to? Today's been a good day for me, and y'all already know why.
Yes, sir.
Y'all doing all right?
We good.
Y'all
man.
doing okay?
Yes, sir. We good.
Well, first off, I'm listening to the interviews with Lamar and with Coach Gauff. And Coach Gauff, I'm rooting for you. I mean, you got a really good squad there in Hannah. But I remember the discussion, y'all coming up with the most gigantic upsets in the history of the top 28. Look, not to sound biased or prejudicial, but the Errol 05 team, the Katrina year team, remember who they beat to win that championship and how far down they were in that championship game. They weren't supposed to win. They had the talent and all that. But remember, they never were cohesive until late in the season.
Right.
And they were able to kick off, and then they got to the championship game and won it. But they were down huge against, was it Naked Central? And that team was loaded, extremely loaded.
Mm-hmm.
So why weren't they in the discussion? I get the Shaw and the Cohen one, that's up there. And VK, you mentioned a couple that were of interest to me, But I'm looking forward to this next round of the playoffs, and of course the top 28. But of course, today starts championship week in college basketball, so that's going to take off too. You get to start studying. This is study time this week because you got to fill out your brackets in March. And you figure, okay, which one of you midgets is going to pull off an upset and whatnot. It's true. I mean, like the Bellamy midgets. I mean, yeah, dude, really. I mean, except for Loyola Chicago, I can't call them that because that team, and they won the hearts of the country a couple years ago, going to the Final Four, then getting smacked by Michigan, and that was a great story. I mean, you're looking for that this time. I don't know, VK, if you saw, but your Tar Heels might have made a gigantic step towards the NCAA tournament with their win tonight at Florida State, and a very resounding win, 77-66.
I hate to say it, what I'm saying, as a Tar Heel fan, like as a realist, man, they go butts freaking smacked.
They are
in the first freaking round. It don't matter. They might win the ACC tournament. Who knows? But they're gonna look like Georgia Tech in 1993 against Southern, get their tails kicked in by 30-something freaking points. I'm just being a realist, man. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, wait. You mentioned Georgia Tech and Southern. You telling me, as a resident of the state of Louisiana, you weren't at least happy that Ben Job won that game? Come on,
Hey, no. I'm not saying that. I'm not
All right.
saying that at all. I was happy,
Okay.
very happy for Southern. But I had Georgia
Yeah.
Tech going deep in the tournament, and they kicked me in the teeth.
So they
That's all
bracket
it
busted.
was.
Okay,
You
you got
know,
bracket busted. I hear you.
no. I got bracket busted. I'm not. Listen to me. I was not mad at Southern. I
feel
had
you.
a big smile on my face because I was most shocked, not the fact that Southern won. I was most shocked at the deficit. I was like,
That they
where
beat the Braves. That they
I
scored
was
95.
my thing was, where was Travis Best, James? Where the hell you were that day? That's
Hooters.
my thing on that day.
They
Cause
were at
I'm
Hooters.
like, where you? You know what I'm saying? Like wow,
All
you
right, guys.
know.
All right.
All right.
All right, guys. All right.
Come
I'm
on, Jared.
sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jared.
All right.
That's
We
all right.
got 20 minutes left. We got to go through brackets of girls and boys. Okay. So let's
All
do
right.
this. Let's do this quickly. Okay. Division 1 non-select girls semifinals. Number 1 Walker versus 5 Ponchatoula. I think Ponchatoula wins in a close one. VK.
Poncha close one should be a very good game.
George.
Not to be the biased one, but I'm going to go Ponchatoula as well and completely the sweep. Look, they're the defending champions. They got what Walker wants. I think the Green Wave are gonna move on.
All right. On the other side of the bracket, number 3 Barb taking on number 2 Parkway. I think Barb's zone defense gives Parkway trouble early, but Parkway and Michaela Williams gets it done. VK.
Should be close early, but I think Park pulls away in the second half.
George.
Biggest key in that game is Parkway to be able to shoot over that zone. If they're hitting shots early, that's going to render the zone. And I think Parkway's going to have shots early, build up a little bit of a lead. Barb's good enough to get there. I feel like Parkway's just too much here, and it feels like Parkway's going to make the final.
Division 2 non-select. Number 1 Wassman taking on number 4 South Beauregard. I got Wassman. VK.
I have Walsman as well. They've been too good all year long.
George.
As advertised, Wassman should win, will win. They'll move on to the final.
Other side of the bracket, number 3 Bruley taking on number 2 Albany. I'm going Albany. VK.
I agree. Albany gets to the final. North Shore is going to be deep this weekend.
Yes, they are, and they're playing in the North Shore in Hammond, correct? So,
Yes,
I don't want to be the contrarian, but it really feels like they have a shot here. But I think at the end of the day, I'm going to go Albany close.
All right, Division 3 non-select. Number 1 Rose Pine taking on number 5 Union Parish. I'm going with Union Parish for the win. VK.
that sounds like an upset right there, my friend. I'm gonna go with the top seed. I'm gonna go with Rose Pine moving on to the championship in the close game.
George Peppers.
Having lived in Central Louisiana for 12 years, that's a program that has been on the come. They've built and built and built, and they've gotten themselves into a success rate. Union Parish has done well to get here. Man, no. Rose Pine's winning this game.
Other side of the bracket, 11 Winfield taking on defending state champs, number 2 seeding. Emit. I got Emit. VK.
A meet, and it's not even close.
I just want to know if Winfield gets their break speed in, will we get another reset of the split? Because
Yeah.
I just want to know.
Busted right
I
there,
just
big
want to
dog.
know. I mean, am I wrong? No, because remember,
You're
we
not
got this
wrong.
split because they got their breaks beat in by Curtis in the football championships. No, but as far as this game, I'm with you. It meets they're the titleist. They'll be in the final. They should win. Winfield, good job getting here, but the story ends here.
All right. Division 4 non-select. Oakdale, the 9 seed, beat number 4 seed Arcadia 47-46. Oakdale is playing in the championship on Friday at 12 o'clock. They'll wait the winner of Oak Grove and number 2 Lakeview tomorrow. I got Lakeview. VK.
Lady Gators to the finals.
George.
Lakeview to the final, but I got to give a shout out to Oakdale. That's another Sandlot team that I know a little bit about, and they're into the final. Good on those girls and getting there. But I'm going to pick for this game. Lakeview beats their opponent into the final.
All right. Number 1, Division 5 now select. Number 1, Fairview defeated number 5, Reeves today. And number 6, Florian went down and lost to number 2, Hathaway. So on Friday, we have Fairview versus Hathaway for the championship. I got Fairview for the championship. VK.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with Fairview winning a state title.
George.
I know the tradition of both of these schools. That's all I know. I haven't seen these schools play. Heck, I'll be the contrarian. I'll go the 2 seed, Hathaway.
Okay. Division 1 select John Curtis versus Scotlandville. I got John Curtis. VK.
John Curtis will move on, and I think Scotland will make an interesting early, but John Curtis will put the foot on the gas.
George
Six-time state champions, right, John Curtis?
6 straight. Yes.
Six straight.
Six straight.
I don't think Scotlandville is going to stop them from getting to a final. I think the Lady Patriots are going to move on to the final and go for number 7.
Number 2, Lafayette versus number 3, St. Thomas More. Battle of Lafayette. I think Lafayette gets it done. VK.
This is going to be a war. It's going to be an absolute war on Friday. 2 great teams. I like Lafayette and their experience to get it done over St. Thomas More.
George.
Heck of a game here. I'm with VK. That it's going to be a nice tight game, but I feel like Lafayette's a team of destiny. I feel like they're going to get to the final and be that has a chance to dethrone John Curtis. Lafayette is going to win that game, but it's going to be close.
Division 2 select Lafayette Christian taking on Peabody. I got Lafayette Christian. VK.
No disrespect to Peabody. Great run for them, getting the way they need to be. Lafayette Christian and not even close.
George.
I agree, but let's give a shout out to Peabody, the Lady Warhorses. I mean, those girls have been fantastic, and they've heard that the boys have been the preeminent dominant group in that school, and now they want to get their shine. I feel like this is a very bad matchup. The Lafayette Christian's athletic program, their football team we know is great. Now their basketball program is on the come. They'll take that step to the final. LC to the final.
All right. On the other side, St. Louis Catholic taking on Vanderbilt Catholic. I think this can be a tough one, close one. I'm gonna put my money on the Lake Charles team, St. Louis Catholic. VK.
I'm gonna say this, man. St. Louis Catholic they've been tough, man. They've been real, real tough. Vanderbilt Catholic has dominated throughout. But you know what? I'm going to go on your side, Jared. I'm going to go with the Lake Charles. Lake Charles folks from St. Louis Catholic, the Saints, the Lady Saints, will go to the finals.
George.
There's a group of Saints that's going to win, unlike the NFL version. I think St. Louis wins, but Vanderbilt Catholic, like you say, VK. I mean, they have been really, really strong. Another semifinal appearance, but I think the Saints are going to march in and march on to the final in that game.
All right, other side, number 6, Episcopal taking on number 2, Holy Savior Menard. I'm gonna go with Holy Savior Menard. VK.
You got the match is Holy Savior Menard and
Episcopal.
Wait a minute. Wait. Did I mess up?
Yeah, I don't know. You messed up.
I messed up. Hold on, George. Let me. Yeah, Division 3, Division 3 select. My fault. Here we go. I'm back. It's Newman versus Parkview Baptist. All right, let's do that part first. Okay, I got Newman. Got Newman girls.
I would love Newman should win this, but at the same time, I'm gonna go with Parkview Baptist on the upset. I'm flipping the script because Isidore Newman has like struggled a bit. They're not the team that they were, and if they're gonna prove themselves, they need to dominate against Parkview. Parkview has been really proving people wrong against tough competition, and for them, I really think this game is going to be close. If Isidore Newman's going to win, they're going to have to dominate and have a big second. Not just dominate they need to dominate the whole game, but then if it's close, they need to have a big second half to put away Parkview Baptist. This is good team that's proven themselves. I'm going with Parkview Baptist for the upset.
This isn't the football program where they gag away chances at state titles. That being said, Parkview Baptist, you're right. I think this is a very legit basketball team. Newman is not coming. I mean, what you're basically saying is that Newman's not peaking, that they're not playing their best. I feel like they're going to find it here. They've had a few days. I think they get it done. Newman beats Parkview Baptist. I'm with Jared on this one.
Now, Episcopal taking on Holy Savior Menard. I got Holy
Okay.
Savior Menard. Go ahead, VK.
Another upset. Going with Episcopal. I think Episcopal is going to play their game. I think they're going to slow down Holy Xavier Menard. Close one. Won't be surprised it might be under 50 for this ball game. Episcopal wins by 3.
George. That's their only chance is to tempo the game into their style. If they can ugly it up, they have a shot. I just think only Xavier Menard's too strong on the wings, and I think that they're going to be able to establish their tempo more than Episcopal will theirs. I think they're less reliant on establishing tempo. Menard's going to win. Only Xavier Menard's going to win and win the state championship.
Ooh, all right.
Good.
Division 4 select. Southern Lab taking on Central Catholic. Southern Lab, VK.
Southern Lab, absolutely.
The Lady Kittens move on. Southern Lab, Central Catholic, nice job getting here, but too strong, too athletic. Southern Lab wins.
Number 6, Hamilton Christian taking on number 2, Northwood Lena. I got Northwood Lena.
I got Northwood Lena as well, not even close, and it will present probably the biggest state championship game of the weekend. Southern Lab, Northwood Lena.
This looked like a championship of destiny with Southern Lab and Northwood Lena before the brackets were made, that these two teams just look like, and Lamar Gafford mentioned this when y'all had him on earlier. I can't see how Northwood Lena loses. I think we get our state championship game, and Northwood Lena handles business. They'll beat Hamilton Christian pretty soundly to get here.
Okay. Division 5 select. Oak Hill defeated Plainview, and J.S. Clark defeated Family Christian. So we have Oak Hill versus J.S. Clark. I got Clark winning the championship. VK.
I got J.S. Clark as well. I think J.S. Clark will win it. And this is the J.S. Clark in North Louisiana. So it's J.S. Clark leadership will win the state championship.
Okay. I wanted to ask that to be sure that wasn't the J.S. Clark I thought it was. Okay. That being said, I'm gonna go Oak Hill. They're the 1 seed here.
Yes.
They're the one to beat. I mean, J.S. Clark, great job getting here. I think we're in for a good game, but Oak Hill makes enough shots late to win that game.
All right. Going to the boys' brackets. We'll do a few of these. Not all of them because we are
Running time.
running out of time. Yes. So I'll try to do some of the area teams. Division 1, non-select. Salmon versus North Shore. Salmon with the upset. VK.
See, I knew you was going there. North Shore. Close one. You should win it. It's going to be North Shore.
George Peppers.
I think we're in for a very nice, very tight game here. Oof. When you agree with VK Jones, you mess up. I'm kidding. Okay, but I'm going to agree with VK here, Jared. I think North Shore finds shots late and is able to get a little bit of a spurt late to win that game against Salmon.
All right. Hornville going to Washington Parish. I got Washington Parish. VK.
I got Washington Parish as well. I think they'll have a big second half and they'll get it done.
George.
I'm with Washington Parish as well. Hornville, good job getting to this point, but I think OP, that long trip's going to do a bit.
Mandeville going to Walker. I got Walker. VK.
Upset pick. Mandeville. Mandeville will take down Walker. That district is tough. And it's going to be proven. Mandeville is battle tested. Walker's a good team, but like I said, that's a wide open division. I'm going Mandeville for the upset. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, everything goes right.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead, George.
The Nostradamus of Hash It Out is just smoking.
Yes.
But I'm going to go with Walker. I love you, VK, but I think Walker's got this. I think the Wildcats move into the quarterfinals pretty soundly. I don't see what you see. I mean, yeah, you're right. Vanderbilt's come out of a tough district. He's right, Jared. But Walker's got this.
All right. Ponchatoula hosting West Monroe. Green Wave.
Green Wave.
George.
Sing the song, VK. A 1, a 2, a hullabaloo. Oh wait, that's Tulane, not Ponchatoula. Okay. I'm just joking when I say that. We were sitting there doing that at Yeoman. Look, I don't know. I know West Monroe's program basketball wise. Again, they play in that district with with some of the Sandlot teams like Alexandria, Pineville, and teams like that. I think the trip's going to do them in. I think Ponchatoula wins a close game.
All right. East St. John going to number 2, Ruston. Battle of district champs. East St. John with the upset. East St. John.
You talking about upset? Whoa. I hate to do this. I'm gonna agree with you, Jared. Ruston has not been a really proven basketball program, and I think it's a lot of the football athletes who are really good. There's transition. A lot of credit to Ruston what they have done this year. A big time breakout year. But I'm sorry. I'm gonna go with the East St. John Wildcats for the upset.
You remember what he said during football season? Ruston, Ruston, Ruston. Ladies and gentlemen, on February 27th at 9:56, VK Jones, you are fired, sir, from representing Ruston.
Wait. That's a different sport. That's a different sport. That is a different sport.
You're supposed to be a program supporter, sir.
No. It depends on the sport.
I know.
I know you're playing. You better. I'm just saying.
But on that note, in this game, I think the story continues one more round. Ruston wins, but I think East St. John's going to give him a lot of trouble. But I believe the Bearcats win a close game.
All right. We can go to Division I. Select matchup of the night. Number 9, St. Aug coming to Marrero, Louisiana to take on number 8, John Ehret. I think we got a good ball game on our hands tomorrow, a close one. I think in this battle of district champions, my mind's telling me no, but my body telling me yeah.
Oh no! Stop singing, dog. No.
I think the Purple Knights get it done. And my best friend's child is going to be a Purple Knight. And that hurt my feelings today. Hurt my feelings today, but I think the Purple Knights get it done. Go ahead,
Hallelujah. Yes. Should be a very close game. It's going to be the best game of the night. It's going to be the best game of the night, no doubt. My heart knows where it wants to go, but my mind.
Oh no!
Go with my mind. I'm going with the John Ehret Patriots, pulling off a close win against St. Aug. It's the fact of the matter is, and no disrespect if anybody St. Aug alumni is thinking I'm going against them. No, it's not. It's the fact of the matter is, this matchup is not going to be easy for the Purple Knights. Purple Knights are playing some great basketball, but this matchup with the guards and the front court, it's not going to be easy for the Purple Knights to get it done. It's going to be tough. Great game, but I'm going to go with the Patriots in a close one.
Go ahead, George.
Oh boy! Whoa! VK Jones is going against his alma mater. Oh my God! Okay, blasphemous. Listen to, in the words of Stephen A. Smith, the blasphemy. But all kidding aside, I, being the John Ehret alum, class of 1990, it's easy for me to pick Ehret. But if you watch the story, I think it was on Fox 8. Yeah,
yes.
Warren Kincaid did the story on John Ehret. How do you not, and Jared, I put this on your post, how do you not root for that program from where they were to where they are now? It's an easy program to root for. They're a senior-laden team. Coach Cheese has done incredible work. I have a close friend of mine that I graduated with. He's the SO at Ehret, and he keeps me in tune with a lot of what with this program. and he has told me that he thought this program would do this. I asked him about the game tomorrow night. He's like all of us. It's going to be a close game because look, you can't poop on the St. Aug Purple Knights. They started slow, but that it was a product of tough scheduling early. But the Purple Knights got it done. Won a very rugged district. I'm going to pick Everett to win though. I feel like the Patriots make some plays late. I think their guards are going to make some late shots, and Everett will pull out a very close game, no further than 3 or 4 points. Everett over St. Aug, and no bet made here because VK's picking Everett. I can't believe, man, wow. Against his alma mater, I think St. Aug should kick him out of the Alumni Association for picking Everett. Unbelievable.
All right, guys, let's be quick here. We got a couple minutes left.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
go.
John Curtis going to Southwood. I think I got I got Curtis upset.
I'm gonna go with Curtis as well. Curtis for the upset.
George.
Curtis. Southwood, traditional power, but Curtis gets it done. Breakthrough.
Huntington hosting Holy Cross. Holy Cross with a big win over McKinley last week. I think another close one. I'm gonna go with Holy Cross. VK.
I'm gonna go with Holy Cross too. It's gonna be a big night for the Cat League here. I think the Cat League makes a huge statement. Holy Cross over Huntington.
Lack of familiarity gets Huntington beat. Holy Cross upsets Huntington because they played in the better district.
Catholic of Baton Rouge hosting Archbishop Rummel. I got Catholic.
I would say Rummel, but one of Rummel's best players is actually hurt his knee against Warren Easton. So that's a big key. I'm gonna go with Catholic in a very close game.
You need your alpha dogs and the kid you talk, forget his name for Rummel. And they won a close game against Easton, but I'm gonna go Catholic. I think the Bears get it done. In 8 points.
Pineville hosting St. Paul's. I got Pineville. VK.
I got Pineville as well.
George.
Pineville. Not much discussion. I think the Rebels get it done, and I think they get it done emphatically.
For the third time in just a little over a year, Edna Carr is taking on St. Thomas More. I think with two teams knowing each other now, the way they know each other, this is going to be a tough ball game, but I think St. Thomas More pulls it off. VK.
St. Thomas More will pull away late in the fourth quarter, but it's going to be really close. Coach Torres Howell is going to have his team ready to play.
George.
I don't think it's a lack of effort. I think familiarity breeds content. I don't see Carr winning though. I think St. Thomas More, they're too good in every part of the floor. STM, the Cougars get it done.
All right. We're going to do Division II select, and we're going to call it after this. Madison Prep against E.D. White. I got Madison Prep. VK.
Madison Prep, not even close.
George.
Madison Prep, easy.
Lake Charles College Prep taking a 3-hour drive to play Landry. I got Landry.
I got Landry as well, winning in a very close one.
LB Landry, close.
All right. Evangel driving 5 hours to play the Archbishop Shaw Eagles tomorrow night. I got Shaw. VK.
I got Shaw as well. Might be close early, but Shaw will pull away.
Wait, didn't he just tell us Evangel could beat Shaw?
Yeah, he was saying all that. He did.
Man,
I said it was going to be close. I say Shaw will pull away.
I thought I heard that. Okay. Politicians on that shit out. Outstanding. But as far as the game, Evangel does not have Cameron Johnson on their team, do they?
No.
Shaw does, and that's your difference. Shaw moves on. Might be a better night for the West Bank. Shaw and Everett moving on. Be nice.
Yeah, be great. It would be great.
Yes, it would.
Northside taking a trip down Highway 90 to go play Vanderbilt Catholic. I got the Northside Vikings winning. Yes, I do. VK.
I agree. I like what Northside is doing. The return to prominence is going right now. I like the Northside Vikings. They are back, baby.
George.
See, I think they can take that step. I'm with you. I think the Vikings get it done. Tough environment, though, going down to Vanderbilt, but I think the Vikings find a way late.
Definitely. Archbishop Hannon hosting Bolton. I got Hannon. VK.
I got Hannon as well.
Hannon wins, but give a shout out to Bolton. As Lamar Gafford mentioned, that program has really bounced up and gotten themselves together. Good on the Bears to get here, but the Hawks are too good. Hannon wins.
Kennedy and Carver, the other game of the night. Woo! I think it's going down in the ninth ward, but Carver comes out victorious. VK.
Get there early. Get there early because it's going to be a packed house up at Carver. Should be a close ball game. I think Carver will pull away in the last 3 minutes to get it done. Carver to the quarters.
George.
Carver will prove to be Ram tough, and they'll get it done. Kennedy, good effort. They'll put up a good fight, like you said. Be there, Aloha. Be there early. But I think the Rams get it done.
Lafayette Christian hosting St. Michael, the Archangel. I got Lafayette Christian. VK.
Lafayette Christian will get by St. Michael in a very close game.
Lafayette Christian's got a nice program. St. Michael has teased at this for a few years now, but Lafayette Christian, until proven otherwise, is going to get it done. They're the better team.
David Thibodeau going to play Peabody. I got Peabody big. VK.
Peabody not even close.
George Peppers.
No. I second that emotion. War horses, big.
All right. Before we go, VK, last words.
Man, good night tonight, man. Great show. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate everybody joining us right here on YouTube. Share this, like, share, and tag and subscribe to my page and Jared's page. But it was good to be here and everything. And starting tomorrow night, it'll be around the 9:30 time. We'll have a minute. 9. You want to go 9? You want to go 9? Because we were going to try and do at least 30 to 45 minute show. But it's going to be updated. We're going to have updates from the boys' playoffs and the girls' playoffs. We're going to make it quick as possible tomorrow. Hopefully 30, 45 minutes, and we'll be done with it. Starting tomorrow and possibly Friday. We'll let you know. But we want to give you some quick updates and thoughts on the second round playoffs and quarterfinals in boys and the girls with the semis and a little bit of the finals on Friday. So we're going to give that to you coming up tomorrow and possibly Friday. We'll let you know.
George Peppers.
I just want to know what tomorrow night you said 9 o'clock?
9
you
o'clock.
did say 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Okay.
9 o'clock. Yeah.
About that time, it'll be a little bit before that time, but I want to make sure VK Jones gets his console hug after Eric knocks out St. Aug tomorrow night. I just want to make sure he's mentally not fragile to do the show tomorrow.
I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be just fine. Look. I hate to miss it. Even Kentrey, and actually, giving you a heads up, the game will be on Crest City Sports tomorrow.
Okay.
So the game will be live.
I'll be at show on my phone like this then.
Yeah, Crest City
Yes,
Sports
sir.
tomorrow.
You'll be at Shaw tomorrow night, aren't you, Jerry?
Yes, I'll be at Shaw.
Yeah, you'll be at Shaw tomorrow. But I'll be on Crest City Sports. And I wish I could be there, and Ken wanted me to come.
You got a baseball game tomorrow, right?
Yes. Nunez is hosting Southwest Mississippi in a doubleheader tomorrow. By the time the second game is over, because the first game is for 4:00.
Right.
So by the time the second game over, I think it'll be right when we're about to start the update show. So hopefully by no later than 8:39, we'll be done. I'm hoping 8:30, 8:45. I have enough time to tear everything down and get to my truck.
For me, I'll be at work tomorrow. Hopefully I don't get kept for 16. If I'm not, I'll join you guys. Tomorrow night promises to be entertaining. With a lot of prep basketball. If you've got nothing to do tomorrow, to those listening, get your tail out and support these kids in the area. John Errett, Shaw, I'm calling y'all out. I'm not calling y'all out. I know y'all packed y'all places this year, but be there again. This is the second round of the playoffs. We haven't had two relevant teams on the West Bank in a minute. On the true West Bank in a minute in this leg of the playoffs, and both teams have legit chances to move on. Shaw more favorable than Errett. Errett has the tougher draw, but get out there and support these kids. They deserve your support. Just get out there. And what's that?
And I was about to say, Errett fans, come on out and root for this team. This is the first time since Katrina they've been this deep.
Yep.
So it's time to come out. It's time to come out and everything else. because you know the Purple Knights are coming.
That's why they
You
coming.
know they
That's
coming.
why they coming.
So you better come out and support them Patriots tomorrow night.
That's why
You
They
they
better
will.
coming.
come out and support them. I'm
That's
saying that because look, I have none but respect for Coach Cheese, and I have none but respect for Sheena Smith and a lot of those people that come from John Everett. I'm an AUG alumni. You know them boys coming. So you better come tomorrow night.
Y'all travel well. That we know. So it feels like Eric 60-40 as far as crowd distribution. I think that's what it's going to be. Again, I won't be there because work beckons. So it sucks.
I wish it
But
could rain tomorrow, but it is
you
what it
ain't.
is.
Well, it's there is a chance of rain later this week
but
for
but but
you.
but VK got to get money, so
Hey,
rain
I
ain't
got
gonna
to
help.
get mine too. I'm gonna get mine too. I mean, we all do. We got to make our bank. I got to get mine. I'm back at work. I go back knowing that I'm cancer free today. So
yes, sir.
that was my highlight of the day. So that works for me, obviously. When they told me that, yeah, I shed a tear or two because I was like, look, there was a 2% chance, but sharing a personal story, but 2% still 2%. I don't, I'm still, I wanted zero, now it's zero. So I'm fine. I feel fine. I'm ready to go back in to work tomorrow. And I love you guys and I appreciate the opportunity. I hope I can join you tomorrow night. Again, if I get let go, it'll be around the 5 o'clock hour. Y'all gonna do this at 9 o'clock. And BK, I promise. No, I don't. I lie. I'm not gonna go easy if Eric beats St. Og. I'm gonna stick my
Of course you're not.
no. And
Of
look,
course you're not,
and,
brother.
and, and, and let me say this because I'm gonna do this on behalf of our leader right here because you humiliated this man a couple of years ago. You sent this man to the psych ward a couple of years ago with those videos on Facebook when Og beat Shaw. That man was despondent, hurt in every way you could think of. You touched every emotional button on that man. So I'm gonna get some cash back for him tomorrow night.
Hey, look, he got his back the next year
Of
or
course
two
he
years after when Shaw got to the semis and they finally beat Shaw. Not just Shaw beating St. Aug, swept them.
well, welcome, boys.
Probably for the
swept
first,
him.
maybe for the second time ever in the history of the Catholic League. So,
Oh,
he got his back, and I know you're going to get yours back. It'll kind of reminisce to 1993 when Shaw St. Aug battled. I'm sorry, St. Aug Erie battled, and that was Rashard Allen's team when they won state, and they beat the brakes off of St. Aug. So this is the first time that these two are going to meet in postseason since that time.
man. I don't think it's gonna be one of those games though. I think it's close.
It's going to be
So,
really close. It's going to be a great
so
ball game. I'm looking forward to that.
All right, guys.
but
We're gonna go ahead
safe
and end it
travel.
on now.
I'll
For
shut it down.
George Peppers, for VK Jones, for Eric Gauff, and for Lamar Gafford, I'm JB, your sports guy. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock, giving you updates on the boys and the girls. So tune in. Thank you for tuning in today. See you tomorrow.